Hey, everybody. Michelle is here on this Friday. All right, now, hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificent, and marvelous because I am. Today is a Friday. Whoa. 10/6/2023 on a Friday. So I put out a podcast earlier where I said I didn't necessarily sleep through the night. I was listening through music all through the night. I mean, hours and hours of music. And I also said, music is a meditative, it's one of the best ways to meditate if you can't really focus and concentrate because your environment may be either too noisy, with the noise pollution and this and that and the other. And I also said, just be safe about it. If you're gonna put on headphones or even listen to music, most people like headphones because you feel immersed in that. Make sure you're safe. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you're safe if you choose to do that. I felt safe in doing that because I put on some headphones and I felt safe doing it, and everything is fantastic, magnificent, and marvelous. Okay, so I want to talk about something unrelated per se to my podcast from earlier where I talked about what was it? Lies versus truth, or lies versus secrets, I think it is. And so it's just something I pose to everybody to contemplate, cultivate, meditate, but don't ruminate. All right, good. It's just something to have kind of flowing through your thoughts, throughout your day. And then I'll go into what I do probably, either later today or tomorrow. I think that is the end of the podcast series for now. That's that pre, newbie podcast that I've been working on with my spiritual partner. Not spiritual partner, good Lord. My spiritual brother. Let's make that clear. He's my spiritual brother. Okay. No misunderstandings. So we're gonna take I'm gonna take a bird's eye view of how I can improve that. I think I got everything set up properly in here where I can be effective. I hope I talked to the neighbors, one of the neighbors, and they seem to be very cool men over there. They said they haven't heard any noise coming out of here. Because that's what I'm wanting to control, noise that goes out. Not so much what comes in, because not much comes in from either side of my studio, but it does come from outside. And that's for a reason, because you do need to know, for safety reasons, what's going on outside, unfortunately, but a lot of it is noise pollution interfering with pure natural sounds. Like if somebody was in trouble and screaming and stuff, you can miss it because everything else that's blocking out pure natural sounds. Or if you hear a baby crying, or somebody's in distress, or somebody calling out for help, with all the noise pollution, it drowns out that kind of sound, pure natural sounds. So anyway, I'm in here cleaning, and you'll be surprised. Things may look clean, but my goodness, and that's fine. I like to keep my place clean, whether somebody's coming over or not. Okay, whether somebody's coming over or not, I like to keep things relatively clean. And let me make something also clear. I do not, I was joking about certain things, and I told you, I like to joke around, but I have to make sure I clarify things, because not everybody's going to take jokes in the way that I take them. I mean, in the way that I deliver them. Somebody's going to always be, there's always a chance for misunderstandings, always. So that's why it's so important to repeat, and also be consistent. So I was joking around about, when I was heading this way west, when I decided to take this journey and make it to my destination, my temporary destination. I said that I was going to do this or do that or the other. Let me make something very clear. Okay, very clear. I don't show up to no one's home uninvited. Okay, I just want to make that clear, and I want to get that out. I don't show up to no one's home uninvited. Now, I'll joke around and say I will, and that I'm going to be knocking on your doors, and no. Michelle don't operate that way. Okay, if I'm not invited, then I'm not going. And chances are, I'd rather meet in a neutral location anyway. If I'm gonna meet with somebody, I don't do that going to somebody's house. I stopped doing that a while ago. Yeah, I don't go. I just don't do that. Now, there's circumstances where because I was a first responder. Well, that's different. We were called to someone's home. Otherwise, I'm not coming unless I'm used. And I used to check on elderly though back in the day. When I was the first responder, I'll go by certain elderly's homes to make sure they're okay, and they appreciate that. But yeah, I just want to make that very clear. I like to joke around, but so I don't show up to no one's home uninvited, and that goes both ways. Do not show up to my place unless I invite you. How about that? Okay, so let's make sure I know how we can miss, whether it's intentional or not, but how we can just roll with stuff and get it going, and before you know it, it's a brush fire, it's a fire, it's a hurricane. It just mounts itself up so quickly, and that you can't control it. That's why I say do the best you can to control your narrative. Okay, and admit sometimes that I may have misspoke. I've made a lot of mistakes during my social media, engagement or whatever this is. Let's make that clear and effective. Okay, I don't show up unless I'm invited. All right, clear. So like I said about the cleaning, yes, you'll be surprised when you think something is clean and it's not, but that's okay. We all have different cleaning regimens. I'm not extreme with my cleaning, but I do make sure it is clean. I'm not obsessive. I'm not obsessive about anything actually, but I do have a relatively expectations about cleanliness. I do, I keep things clean. So I like to be in clean environments, especially bathrooms and kitchens. And I learned something from a friend back in the day, I'll say we're friends, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that, or associates, whatever. I told you back in the day, I decided to heal some relationships that ended on unknown. I don't know the impact of it. Okay. I told you how I necessarily do not take in a lot of feelings and emotions, that intensity of it. And sometimes I can be assumption of, okay, I'm aloof. I disregard feelings and, whatever, that kind of attitude about things. And that's a possibility. But that's not necessarily true. And I had to work on that. I had to work on my feelings. Actually how to process them properly and not to disregard others' feelings, because that's a possibility. So I decided to reach out to people that I thought I may have left something unhealed. There's some stuff that happened on the social media where some of my accounts were compromised and blah, blah, blah. I went into all of that. There's a video on that. And I decided to reach out to certain people that I felt safe in doing so. If I didn't feel safe, no chance in hell will I be reaching out to those people. And there's a few of them, actually. I met a lot of people throughout my life, just like everybody else. But it's for some reason you do remember and play close attention to those that may have been detrimental. Where you experience a lot of pain, which I hadn't experienced a lot of pain, but I had some life-threatening situations. How about that? So we remember those things because we just don't want to get ourselves wrapped up in something like that again. And the only issue with that is that can become a rumination. You're attempting to avoid being heard. You're attempting to avoid being made a fool of. All these kind of things, and that can lead to rumination. And guess what's going to happen? That same kind of people are going to be coming back in your life. So that's why you need to be You need to be healed at some point so that you don't have to be ruminating over a bad relationship, or when somebody hurt you, or when someone manipulated you and took advantage of you, and this and that and the other. You got to heal that. Otherwise, you're going to keep ruminating and ruminating about it, and then that's who you're going to meet. You're drawing that energy of that type of person. So I'm healed. I'm good. So anyway, I remember meeting this one person, because we did end on kind of a bad note, and I really cared about this person, and I cared about their well-being. It wasn't about getting back together, not at all. But anyway, so we met at a restaurant. We were there for almost, I think 2 to 3, 5 hours. I don't know. We were the last one in the restaurant. We had been talking so long and catching up on things. And this person brought to my attention how they didn't like some certain things I was doing in my studio at the time. No, I'm sorry, my condo at the time. And I took that. I wasn't offended. I said, okay, because I wasn't aware that was bothering this person, and it was just driving this person insane apparently. So I appreciate this person telling me that there was something I was doing in my environment that bothered them, and they didn't like it. And I changed. I changed some routines, and I changed some habits. Okay, cool. So yes, we can learn. We can always learn something about how to improve ourselves, and just bring peace to people, so that nobody's going crazy by something you're doing. So yes, I appreciated that person telling me that they didn't like certain things I was doing in my house, and it bothered them. And I was like, wow, okay. Like I said, I wasn't offended by it. I was actually appreciative of it, because we all have different ways of what we do in our own house. And some people don't see the dirt, or some come in and that's all they see is dirt. You know what I mean? Some people are, that are hoarders. I've met some hoarders, especially in law enforcement. Or first responders. You're going to run into hoarders. The house outside looks pristine and beautiful. You go inside, it's another story. That's why it's always an inside. It's always about what's going on inside and what's going on in your own backyard. Anybody can have a beautiful, a front entrance until you go in there. And I knew a particular city that was that way. The front yard, it was manicured beautifully, but go inside, some of them were completely empty and just empty real estate, just sitting there, abandoned basically. And some when I went in, there was some hoarding, severe hoarding going on. So anyway, I appreciate that person telling me that. So, be appreciative of someone attempting to, what's the word? Give you some, a lot of people call it constructive criticism. No, maybe we need to stop using that. Stop calling it constructive criticism. Nobody wants to be criticized anyway, regardless of whether it's constructive or not. Maybe we can call it something else. Just so, like I said, we have to elevate our language and elevate our words, and make sure we take a look at stuff that's said, or that you say to yourself, and say to yourself, okay, why am I saying that I'm that way? I'm not that way anymore, or that doesn't really resonate with me anymore. Okay, that's when I say challenge beliefs and convictions and blah 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 blah. Okay, so I just wanted to put this video out real quick before I finish up cleaning it here, because I want to get things nice and neat and clean. Because that's just how I like it, right? And like I said, I like to keep my house comfortable, cozy, clean, where the right type of energy is flowing in here. And let me also give you a word to the wise. something to contemplate, cultivate, meditate, but don't ruminate. Anytime you are having a disagreement with somebody, just take it from me. Do not ever walk down a flight of stairs and have somebody arguing behind you. Okay? Do not put yourself in a position where if you are arguing with someone, you're walking down the stairs first, and the one that's arguing with you is behind you. Reverse that role if you can. What you can do is you can sit down somewhere. If you have a mobility problem, and tell that person you are welcome to leave and allow them to walk down the stairs by themselves. Okay, that's a word to the wise. Peace and love, everybody. And trust me, I'll be back.